investors and all invited guests, all protocols observed. Your Excellency, with your permission at this point, I would like to invite the DG Central Bank, Dr. Susan Koech, to give her remarks. Tumkaribishe kwa makofi. Welcome, Daktari.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, Cabinet Secretary, Industry, Trade and Investment, Honorable Moses Kuria, Principal Secretary, National Treasury, Principal Secretary, Diaspora Affairs, the Chairman of the Finance Committee, Honorable Kimani, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm honored and privileged to welcome you all to the Central Bank of Kenya. I'm doing this on behalf of the board, the Monetary Policy Committee, the management and the staff of the Central Bank of Kenya. We are honored by your coming here today to witness the launch of a system that is going to, among others, ensure that one, we policy transmission, that we as a people of Kenya are able to invest and continue to deepen the domestic market, and that more importantly, it's an innovation that is going to ensure that we continue to be the leader utilization, and that more importantly, we remain the number one in that field. And I want to thank you sincerely and thank the Central Bank team who have worked tirelessly with all the partners included who've worked with us to ensure that we can pull a fast one for the world. Thank you and feel most welcome.
Thank you. Next, we would like to just have a short video play, and this video is basically describing what the Dow CSD is. So let's have the video.
In the 1980s and the early 1990s, the government used to issue bearer certificates for investment in government securities. For investors to purchase the bearer certificates, they used to have to come to the central bank physically and buy these bearer certificates at face value. They would also have to come to the central bank to encash their interest payments and also their redemption once their securities matured. Importantly was that if these bearer certificates got lost, the investors would have to go to the police station, get a police abstract, and come and find a different way of being paid for their investments.
As an exchange, we engaged with the central bank about 13 years ago, that's back in 2009, when we decided that we have to drop this paperwork when people are buying and selling bonds. You'll be surprised that people used to walk to CBK to confirm whether the assets are sitting in CBK, so we thought that was not tenable.
Just looking at an investor from Moyale, for example, if they held a bond, they would have to come every 6 months to collect their interest and also finally to encash their redemption.
Internally as stockbrokers, we were just shuffling papers left, right and center. And it was just, it's not unfair to call it the prehistoric days. That I think in my view is a correct analogy.
So in 2019, we actually automated the trading system together with the central bank. And what that did was to reduce the time period within which people were buying and selling bonds from a massive 12 days to about 3 days.
The Dow CSD is a systemically important Central Securities Depository infrastructure that delivers world-class levels of registry, custodial and settlement services for both primary and secondary market operations.
When the system went live on the 31st of July this year, we've seen a lot of activity, especially from our clients as commercial banks, trying to open accounts because before account opening was very laborious, it was very manual. Now clients can do that on their own. It's because it has eased the process of account opening and also settlement. We've seen clients being able to even being involved in the settlement process, which also enhances transparency.
What the Dow CSD has done is provided a very easy access to the platform. The onboarding process is very seamless. It can be done remotely on your mobile phone, on your computer. It also gives you visibility on portfolio investments. It gives you visibility on oncoming or forthcoming opportunities in bond trading, as well as what's going on in the secondary market.
When we think of technology, we should get away from itself and understanding the human being and the effect of it. And the Dow CSD is first and foremost an empowerment tool. It will allow financial support at a very critical level. And having a seamless system that guarantees my return is just the perfect vehicle we want to start off with.
So for us, and from where we sit, we think it's empowering the investor directly, because an investor can be able to open an account under 10 minutes. That's completely phenomenal. Number two, worldwide, investors don't interact directly with the central bank. So we are pulling a fast in Africa, if not the world, whereby a retail investor like David, under 10 minutes, they have an account with the central bank. So we, from where we sit, believe that it's going to be impactful. One, in terms of financial inclusion and promoting the savings culture.
This is going basically to enhance and deepen the financial market of Kenya. It's going to enhance transparency and also a lot of participation from the investing public, and also isn't the process of investors trying to access the domestic debt market.
The innovation of the Dow CSD is a game changer in that respect, because it does allow you easy access to the bond market in Kenya. And as we know, the diaspora communities are very challenged because they are looking for ways of engaging and participating in economic activity back home. I couldn't think of a better way of them participating than in investing in the bond activity going on in Kenya, and particularly through the Dow CSD.
I live in Doha, in the state of Qatar. I would want to applaud the central bank for the new system, because previously we used to invest, accessing the portal was via SMS. And so for someone in the diaspora like me, it meant I had to get local network, in this case Safaricom, and go through the SMS system to access my account. And that wasn't so comfortable. You can imagine when you don't have access to the Safaricom system, network and so on. But now Central Bank has come with a new system, the Dow system, that it's so user-friendly. It's a portal that you log in, and my experience has been fantastic. The system gives me what I like the most, and that is visibility of my account. The visibility at a glance, it's so reassuring. Interacting with it, you are able to really see what is upcoming, your securities at a glance. You can tell what your portfolio is at a glance, and that is good. So the new system has been really a game changer, and I'm sure it will be a reason that most Kenyans, especially diasporans, will opt to invest via central bank.
When I learned about Dow CSD, I decided to onboard, and the whole process, start to finish, took me less than half an hour. It was seamless. It was incredible. I mean, this innovation is second to none. And I commend really the developers who came up with such a seamless platform.
The Dow CSD is transforming Kenya's financial markets through improved monetary policy operations and enhanced operational efficiency in the domestic debt market.
The Dow CSD has impacted on the secondary market, and secondary market involved the secondary trading, and that is the trading of securities after issue but before maturity. And basically there are three main transactions. That's the outright sale, then there is the pledge, and then there is the transfer without the cash.
For the central bank, it will change how monetary operations are conducted. For the National Treasury and Economic Planning, it will transform the way their securities are issued, stored, and traded. And for the banking sector, it will expand existing custodial services and create new opportunities to operate in the financial markets through a world-class infrastructure platform.
Previously, some banks could not access cash as easily due to system inefficiencies. With the Dow CSD, however, we anticipate liquidity distribution to improve because, among other things, there's full transfer of collateral for repo transactions. This will enhance the functioning of the interbank market and boost confidence among the participants.
In terms of horizontal repo, which is a product that had been on ice in the financial market space for quite some time, we've seen it being rolled out. Now banks can participate in horizontal repos because what the Dow CSD has enabled is a transferability of collateral, which will further enhance liquidity and also reduce the systemic risk that was hitherto not possible in the previous financial markets regime.
One of the things that we have seen, because we benchmark with some of these economies in India, they significantly save in excess of 60% of their earnings. So you know where we are. So if we grow that by around 10%, and I think this system is coming to bridge that, then I think this economy will be grown by Kenyans brick by brick.
And since Kenya is an innovative country, we wanted also to be the first one in the world to give such a system.
I'm proud to be part of the team that has delivered the Dow CSD system, which is going to transform Kenya's financial markets.
All said and done, we are very happy to be where we are because it's been around 2 years, and I must say that the end justifies the means.
I'm very proud to have been part of this project.
Welcome to the Dow CSD.
The beauty of technology. At this point, Your Excellency, allow me to now call the CBK Governor, Dr. Kamau Thuge, to come and make his remarks, and in turn, invite the CS National Treasury and Economic Planning. Karibu sana.
His Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Juguna Dungo, the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury and Economic Planning, CS Moses Kuria, Industry, Trade and Investment, other Cabinet Secretaries present, Honorable Kuria Kimani, Chair of the Finance Committee, and other members of Parliament, and the Chair of the Council of Economic Affairs, David D. Principal Secretaries present, members of the CBK Board and the Monetary Policy Committee, Chief Executive Officers of commercial banks, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me to welcome you all to the Central Bank of Kenya. We're also very grateful to His Excellency for finding time to join us on this momentous occasion, which is a culmination of a long journey spanning more than 6 years the CBK has gone through in developing the new, agile, and transformative financial market infrastructure called the Dow CSD. The CBK continues to work closely with the stakeholders to implement strategic reforms that will enhance efficiency and effectiveness in the attainment of its mandates and in pursuit of its vision to be a world-class modern central bank. Your Excellency, as you are aware, the CBK is mandated to formulate, implement monetary policy directed to achieving and maintaining price stability. We are also mandated to foster liquidity, solvency, and proper functioning of an efficient, sound, and stable market-based financial system. On this front, I'm happy to note that despite the negative global developments that have transmitted into the local economy, inflation has now firmly returned to our target range of 5% plus or 2.5%. And this is due to the strong measures that have been taken by the monetary policy of the CBK and the supportive measures by the government to improve food supply across the country, including the provision of subsidized fertilizer. Inflation has declined from a peak of 9.6% in October of 2022 to 6.7% in August 2023, and we expect it to continue moderating in the next few months. This has been mainly due to food inflation from around 16% in September, October of last year to 7.5% in August of this year. Your Excellency, it will be remiss on my part if I did not mention which is usually referred to as inflation targeting. The framework introduces an interest rate corridor set at plus or minus 2.5 percentage points on either side of the CBR. Monetary policy operations to inject or withdraw liquidity are then targeted at ensuring that the interbank rate tracks very closely the CBR rate. And therefore, unlike the situation pertaining before, there is now a direct relationship between the CBK policy rate, the CBR, and commercial banks' interest rates, thereby making the transmission of monetary policy to the economy much more effective. To enhance further the effectiveness of this monetary policy framework, we have also re-energized the overnight discount window at the CBK, which the banks were not using before, by removing bureaucratic procedures and lowering the interest rates charged to banks that access this window by 200 basis points. This window will be available to banks to access liquidity to meet their cash ratio requirements in the event they are unable to obtain liquidity in the interbank market. Ladies and gentlemen, the long journey to the rollout of the Dow CSD has been made possible through a partnership of the CBK, the National Treasury, commercial banks, investment banks, the CMA, the Nairobi Stock Exchange, and the Kenya Revenue Authority, and other stakeholders, including the World Bank and the National Bank of Georgia. In 2016, the National Treasury and the CBK, with the support of the World Bank, initiated the acquisition of a new CSD that would enhance efficiency in government securities operations and introduce automation to foster growth and stability of the financial market. This is aligned with the CBK's strategic focus area of automation and commitment to promoting growth, efficiency, and stability of the financial sector. The Dow CSD that the President is going to launch today went live on July 31st, 2023. It is a versatile financial market infrastructure that will enhance operational efficiency in the domestic debt market and also improve monetary policy transmission and implementation. Players in the Kenya interbank market have already started benefiting from the system, as it has enhanced liquidity distribution, and it has also enabled the CBK to support commercial banks with liquidity when necessary at much lower discount rates in the CBK overnight window. The Dow CSD is therefore expected to promote a well-functioning interbank market, capital market growth, market deepening, expansion of the digital access for broader financial inclusion, and position Kenya as the preferred financial hub in the region. In addition to helping manage systemic risk, the system has improved and automated operations by eliminating paper-based processes. We are delighted to have His Excellency the President launch the Dow CSD at this moment, as it will enable the CBK to more effectively fulfill its dual mandate of ensuring price and financial system stability. With improved monetary policy transmission, our inflation targeting monetary policy framework will be more accurate, and the policy actions will be more effective. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to sincerely thank Your Excellency for taking time from your busy schedule to grace this auspicious occasion. I hope, Your Excellency, that very shortly we will be able to again interrupt your busy schedule to come and launch the Emakiba, a product that I know you are very passionate about. Let me also thank all those stakeholders that have been involved in the long and difficult journey of developing the Dow CSD. We are very grateful to the World Bank and the National Bank of Georgia for their invaluable support, and to the National Treasury and all the market participants for their significant contributions to this project. With these few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I now invite the Cabinet Secretary, the National Treasury and Economic Planning, Professor Juguna Dungo, to make his remarks, and thereafter invite the President to make his remarks and to launch the Dow CSD. Welcome, CS.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Cabinet Secretaries that are with me. I have Moses Kuria with me. I'm very happy that, Governor, you have invited me back to the Central Bank. Deputy Governor, I promised my colleagues that we don't retire, we change clients. I didn't know I would change clients to this extent. Thank you very much, Deputy Governor, the Governor, my Chairman of the Finance and Planning Committee, my PS, Dr. Chris Kipto was working with me here, and PS Diaspora Affairs. I'm happy also to see Chairman KRA, the Deputy Governor, Nairobi County, and the latest entry into our team, Humphrey Watanga, the Commissioner General of the KRA. Distinguished guests, I'm very happy to be here. Sorry, I'm fighting this. It is much longer than it is supposed to be. It's my pleasure to be here this morning and to join His Excellency, the President, at this very, very important occasion on the launch of the Dow Central Securities Depository, Depository, the Dow CSD. And as a former central banker, I'm happy to be back home, but more importantly, to increase the diversity of the products that are going to enrich our market. The central banks in all emerging and frontier markets like Kenya are currently faced with significant headwinds arising from monetary policy tightening, especially in advanced economies, and more so the challenges that are posed by supply-side shocks that have hit the economy for so many years now, counting 4 years, especially starting with the drought last year and also the subsequent surprise shocks. These surprise side shocks marked a very difficult season for central banks, given their mandate is to ensure price stability, but pressures from the supply side do require more than bringing the supplies back into the market, whereas the central bank use the demand side tools. But I'm happy to note that given the interventions the central bank and the government have implemented, the Kenya sharing, the exchange rate is now stabilizing. And the Monetary Policy Committee has also taken measures to address inflation. This, together with measures implemented by the government to support increased agricultural output, have resulted into a decline in inflation to 6.7% from a high of 9.6%, as the governor mentioned. And we do expect this to be a declining trend on inflation, especially as we continue to see food supply coming back into the market, and even productivity and production increases in our farms, in our smallholder farms, and even larger farms. The global developments have drastically worsened the external financing conditions, and this has limited Kenya's access to external borrowing and even affected the domestic debt market liquidity. For this reason, the domestic borrowing targets, for example, for the financial year 2022-2023 was met with a lot of difficulties. But it's also a lesson for us so that we can come up with innovative solutions that can address the situations or even conditions as they arise. Consequently, for me, the rollout, and for the government, the rollout of the Dow CSD by the Central Bank of Kenya is a great milestone, as it will not only enhance the operational efficiency of the government domestic debt program, but also support the deepening of the domestic capital market. The launch of this system marks a major step in the government's efforts to promote local savings and investment. Allow me, Your Excellency, to once again congratulate the Central Bank for delivering a state-of-the-art system that conforms to the international best standards, but also in addition allows us to join some of the line products that have been produced at a very, very micro level, and we do believe that a combination of these mid-row and also micro-level products is going to be quite productive for us and quite satisfying for us. Allow me also to recognize the role played by the World Bank, the National Bank of Georgia, and the market stakeholders in Kenya, commercial banks, investment banks, CMA, Nairobi Securities Exchange, KRA, and even IRA. Their input in the project has been invaluable. I also wish to acknowledge my colleagues from the National Treasury for their role in this important milestone. They are the most people who complain when domestic borrowing, or that is the market of public debt, does not work well because it affects them directly. So we have a stake here, and that stake is very, very important so that we take up any responsibility in future to make sure that we improve on this diversity of products that are flexible to the borrower, but they are also flexible in terms of providing the resources that we require. So this is your day, Your Excellency, to launch this product. So for me, it gives me a lot of pleasure and even singular honor to actually invite you to come and preside over this event, Your Excellency. Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Let's take our seats. CS National Treasury, CS Trade, my good friend, the governor of the Central Bank. I was asking him outside here who the governor of Central Bank is. And because he used to work for me on the other side until I lost him. Deputy Governor, distinguished friends, good afternoon. Occasions like this are very critical, not just because of the specific event we are here for, but also for the opportunity it affords us to remind one another of what we have set out to do and why we take the trouble to do it. And that is to review progress, achievements, and to reinforce our commitment to the journey of national transformation for the socio-economic advancement of all the people of our country. One of the fundamental commitments we made to the people of Kenya is to enlist every Kenyan in the task of nation building by opening up opportunities for citizens in their millions across the country to pursue engagements that enrich their lives and bring them closer to their aspirations by two primary means. The first one is to remove all the structural barriers to the contribution of the majority of our people and eliminate systemic obstacles to their participation at any level in all sectors. This is out of the realization that Kenyans are not only capable of meeting their needs and creating wealth through hard work, but they also aspire to contribute to the baking of a national cake large enough to feed all of us instead of just waiting for morsels distributed through sometimes adversarial, competitive, and untimely, and sometimes acrimonious political mechanisms, as we all know. The second is to facilitate millions of Kenyans to participate and make their contribution through innovative and transformative policies, programs, and projects that facilitate access to opportunity and to the means of turning these opportunities into incomes as a path to improve well-being and create wealth through savings and investments. And as I said yesterday, when I was somewhere in Meru, that the responsibility of nation building is first and foremost the collective responsibility of all of us as Kenyans. Each and every one of us, we need to ask ourselves the job of building Kenya. What is my contribution? Whatever it is, however small, however big, how am I making a contribution towards the nation that I belong to? Citizen of Kenya. And as we take the realization that it is our responsibility, first and foremost, and it is us who are going to build the country. And because it is us who are going to build the country, it is our effort, our energy, our sweat, our assets, our wealth that is going to build this country. And it is the reason why I have undertaken that this great effort by every Kenyan, their energy, their expertise, their resources, their contribution in whatever manner must be protected from the people who want to abuse it. That commitment to the people of Kenya, to make sure that their resources are looked after and they are not lost through wastage or theft or corruption or any manner of loss of public resources. Through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, We have established various mechanisms to implement the commitments I have said. They include the implementation of large-scale employment creation programs in various sectors, including agriculture, housing, and the MSME ecosystem, or hustler economy, the digitization and automation of government services, promotion of the participation of youth and women, creation of financial mechanisms to enhance inclusion, and the provision of infrastructure that promotes access to digital technologies. At the foundation of these interventions is the principle that our economic system must be refined through transformation into an environment of opportunities and a tide that lifts all boats, regardless of size, speed, shape, purpose, or build. In this context, this event is very significant. We are here to launch a very special boat set to sail into an operating agenda. It is appropriate that the boat we launch on this occasion represents the intersection of fundamental has been automated and digitized to enhance its security and to enable it to serve investors faster and much more efficiently. Additionally, the CSD investor portal and the M-Akiba digital application have freed up access to the opportunity to invest and trade in government securities, enabling people of all walks of life to participate in the securities market, thereby facilitating a bottom-up growth of the sector, as has been explained by the many people who I saw in that little presentation state. Thirdly, the use of technology to enhance security, efficiency, transparency, and inclusion is a constant theme in the implementation of our programs, as you may well have seen, from making sure that we digitize all government services